Justice Sanjay Krishan Kaul, Justice Ashok Bhushan, Justice Sikri, Scott, Sumant, Mr. Sahut, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. It is often said that India went from socialism without entry to capitalism without exit until the enactment of the IBC. The absence of an insolvency law hobbled the Indian economy, and IBC's implementation was transformative. The International Monetary Fund has termed the IBC as a big bang reform. IBC brought India's insolvency law at par with the best in the world and has enabled us to attract foreign capital into distressed but productive companies. The Financial Stability Report issued by the RBI in December 2022 showed that NPAs in India's financial system stood at a historic low of nearly 5% from double-digit highs less than 10 years ago. The economic survey released just 2 days ago cited figures that showed that resolutions under the code have realized 177.6% of the liquidation value and 841% of the fair value. These are all signs of the IBC's success. Crucially, IBC inculcated credit discipline, established the sanctity of the debt contract, established rules for orderly exit. The IBC disrupted the divine right of promoters by displacing their control upon the concurrence of default. In its first 5 years, IBC enabled the repurposing of productive assets and improved productive capacity. An effective insolvency law with defined creditor rights and a finite short timeline reduces the cost of credit and increases access to credit for the economy. Although insolvency law is focused at the end of the life of a company, World Bank research shows that effective regimes can foster entrepreneurship by allocating resources to productive sectors, encouraging credit and investment to entrepreneurs and enabling assumption of entrepreneurial risk, and they lead to the rise of a bond market which is very severely absent in India. It is no coincidence that the growth of the startup ecosystem and entrepreneurship has coincided with the functioning of the IBC. I have personally, on several occasions in the past, written on what I feel is the potential of the IBC along with the challenges in its implementation. A very knowledgeable audience, as today, all of you are aware, and I don't need to repeat the statistics surrounding implementation of the IBC, with a large percentage of matters taking significantly longer than the stipulated time frames set out, which to my mind is critical. Nor do I need to remind all of you about the cost to the economy from pendency of these insolvency matters, with estimates ranging at Indian rupees 17 crores a day or more from the losses of interest alone. There is therefore no room for complacency given the success of low NPAs and deleveraged corporate balance sheets. Insolvency law is an important counter-cyclical tool, and other newer threats, including inflation, supply chain constraints, are on the horizon of the economy. Climate transition and digital transformation will inevitably mean planned obsolescence and require orderly exits. This demands that the IBC and alternative measures of debt restructuring that exists in the shadow of IBC must be strengthened to weather these economic headwinds. Some provisions of the IBC have been diluted by way of interpretation of the judiciary. The IBC took the pioneering steps of subordinated state tax dues so that of secured financial creditors, certain judicial precedents tampered with the waterfall priority. The government is seized of this and proposed amendments to the IBC, including clarifying the priority of the state dues. Certain other proposals require careful consideration. Credit through the world is extended on the assumption that secured credit will be honored. In rare situations of group insolvency with debt and security at various levels of the group, creative solutions may have been used which are not applicable universally and requires very careful thinking through. Pre-packaged insolvency will be quick and market-friendly, which all engendering predictability and certainty. Pre-packs will allow for early detection and resolution. They should be implemented for all debtors. Pre-packs will allow resolution prior to default within the creditor in control through a possible Swiss challenge or stalking horse process. Apart from legislative amendments, it is crucial to augment the supporting infrastructure. NCLTs, the capacity of judges and information utilities, filling up vacancy, bringing men of great integrity and efficiency. NCLTs and the appellate tribunals are severely clogged, making the initial admission, which in the original design was intended to be early and seamless, and therefore the time taken to complete an insolvency process, and I want to commend, though I don't know Justice Ashok Bhushan personally, but his general reputation is of a very, very high order, that he's brought great efficiency and integrity to the NCLT process. You know, the time taken to complete an insolvency process, while a fraction of the pre-IBC period, is significantly higher than the statutorily prescribed maximum. There is direct correlation between time taken and value. If less time is taken, much higher value will be realized. The time efficiency of IBC is critical and must be honored at all costs. Neither the judiciary nor creative lawyers or accountants should extend the time prescribed in the Act for any reason whatsoever. Separate specialized benches for company law and IBC would have a multiplier effect. Empirical evidence conducted by Bowley and Jacopo Ponticelli, published by the University of Oxford, has shown that specialized courts brought faster resolution of financially distressed firms, bringing down the time taken to resolve insolvency by more than half. Providing physical and digital infrastructure support to the NCLTs through judicial process re-engineering, allowing judicial bandwidth to be preserved on matters of law, could be a force multiplier. Capacity building of NCLT judges and staff through training, including cross-border immersive exchanges, will be valuable. Ladies and gentlemen, there have been several progressive developments by the government in dispensing justice or making justice accessible. The decriminalization of minor offenses, and I can also cite that one of the major developments came under the guidance of Justice Shri when he chaired the Interministerial High-Level Committee to develop a framework for online dispute resolution. Ladies and gentlemen, the next 25 years are set to be the most significant of India's growth story. If we achieve an annual growth of 6%, the size of economy will be 16.4 trillion. If we grow at 8%, it will be 20.6 trillion. If we grow by 10%, it will be 32.6 trillion. That means our per capita income, instead of going from 8,000 and 14,000, will rise to 22,000. We'll change the life of every single Indian. But for this to happen, it is very important that IBC must function. And IBC must function in the most efficient manner. Most critically, to my level, IBC will be a very critical driver of India's growth. It'll be the driver of India's prosperity. It'll be the driver of driving per capita income. And therefore, I'm confident that the Insolvency Law Academy is positioned to provide the capacity building, research, and awareness support towards making the IBC and its impact a significant one, and one that can be looked at by other countries as a precedent for effective insolvency resolution. I thank you again for inviting me, and I wish you all the very best for this event. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.